it's Jona, and I'm so excited to talk about High School Musical, the series, episode 5 of season 3. I can't believe we're 5 episodes in. I can't believe I've made 5 of these review videos. Once again, I'm sorry that this is late. I have a full-time job, and sometimes I just get too busy, but I always want to talk about this show, so even if it's late, you can always expect it. Overall, it seems like everybody was really happy with this episode, which is so exciting to see. It's so excited to see everybody feeling good. Overall. Before I start, I do have to say that I ordered the East High School Musical eyeshadow palette just because it's High School Musical. I have never in my life worn eyeshadow, but I was thinking that I could wear it at some point during these reviews, maybe for the finale? If you think I should, leave a comment. I have no clue how to do eyeshadow, not even one iota of an idea, but I suppose YouTube could probably teach me. Let me know what you think, because it is beautiful, honestly. Like, I don't even want to use it because look. Why would I want to destroy that? There's like embossing, like the Wildcat logo, and like, I don't even want to touch it, but maybe I will. Now we can get started talking about the episode. Gina says that she's going to talk to EJ later. Have we not learned by now that that's never a good idea? There was a mention of scouting a camp called Camp Deep Lake. Really? Although it's kind of like East High, North High-esque. Carlos. Okay, so in my last episode I had said that episode 5 of this show typically gives us a lot of great Carlos content, and this did not disappoint. Carlos is so iconic. He is legendary. He's my absolute favorite character, and he really shined in this episode. I love how he was like, I'm back, baby, and I was like, yes you are, you never left, but you are here and I love you. When Carlos was going through the whole plan for the real campers of Shallow Lake, which was just so genius and so funny, Ashlyn said, I'm dying, yes, when she got her role. What was her role? Why don't I remember? But anyway, I think that was a callback to the very first episode of the series where she was told that she would be Miss Darbus, and she was like, yes, I'm dying, I'm dead, yes. So after they go through the whole casting of the real campers of Shallow Lake, they started practicing slapping each other, which was so funny. I loved Carlos going around and checking on everyone. But okay, I've watched this several times because I'm so confused. When Ricky and EJ are practicing slapping, or failing at practicing slapping, Carlos gives them a direction, and he's like, what does he say? I need to look up exactly what he says because it's super confusing. Well, what he says isn't confusing, but the way that Ricky responds is confusing. Okay. So Carlos says, EJ, you've stolen the woman Ricky loves. Everybody got that? And then immediately following that, Ricky says, do you mean Gina? Because she's EJ's girlfriend, so he stole her. Is that not what Carlos just said, but in different words? That was super confusing to me. I don't understand it at all. Like, was he trying to emphasize what Carlos had said? But if he was trying to put emphasis on it, like the way his inflection is, it doesn't sound like that, so it's very confusing. I have no idea. Anyway, it's not that important. And in that same scene, EJ, how did he know that Ricky holds a torch for Gina? Like, I get that he's like getting an inkling of things because of everything that's been happening, but how does he know that he's been holding a torch this whole time? I know it was a hypothetical situation, they were thinking it as actors, but they were putting real stuff into it. I don't know. I think that whole scene confused me, but honestly, I loved it. I thought it was really funny, and I liked seeing Matt and Joshua play that dynamic. And of course, Frankie was just on fire this episode. Every line, every appearance, every look was just on point. I love the Survivor Nicaragua reference. I've watched every Survivor season, and I honestly can't even tell you which one that is. They all blur together. There's been, what, like 35, 36 seasons? I don't even know. But I love that Channing just keeps dropping references to shows that he's worked on. I hope there are more because they're just pretty fun. We need to talk about Emmy. She's that girl from TikTok that does that really interesting warm-up. And if she sounds that great on a warm-up, I feel like we really need to use her voice more than we are. I feel like she's really holding back and like not putting her full potential out there yet because she's in character. But I'm just waiting for a moment for her to just like be like, oh, and the most beautiful voice. Carlos as Olaf, that's exactly what I wanted. Remember when I said that I wanted to see him in a full snowman costume? That was what I meant. So thank you, Tim Federle, for hearing me. Even though this was filmed way before I said that. It made me so happy. He just looked so miserable, and I know that he probably hates playing Olaf, but honestly, I love it. And him forgetting to tell Emmy and Alex, is that their names? Emmy and Alex, that they were doing the real campers of Shallow Lake was just so funny. And honestly, Carlos, come on. You have to tell the children. Think of the children. They had to be so confused and so scared. In fact, I think they were. I wrote a note and I was debating putting it in because I feel like it sounds mean, but I truly do not mean it in a mean way because I adore Courtney. I absolutely adore her. She is one of my favorite characters. But I was surprised that she was okay with water being thrown on her outfit, that she takes time to put together and look nice. I love that she was okay with it and that they did that because that whole sequence was so funny. All of the things that they did up on stage between that and Jet's deep voice and oh my gosh, best line ever. When Carlos is like, ow, my face, it's been slapped. Oh, I died, that was the best. And I keep saying it in real life, like, I feel like it's my new catchphrase because it's just so funny. And it reminds me of when Olaf is like, oh, look at that, I've been impaled. So good. I would love to know which costume designer hates EJ so much. Between the Gaston costume and the Sven costume, honestly, the Sven costume does not even look like a reindeer. This camp has a very low budget, clearly. There's other times where it seems like it has a big budget, but that costume tells you it's a very low budget. The props, however, look really good. The door, like the frozen door thing they walked through during What Do You Know About Love, which I will get to. I will get to that song. Looked really good. So yay Maddox, yay Gadget for pulling that together and offsetting the Sven costume. Okay, let's just talk about What Do You Know About Love. I didn't know this song prior to going in. I said, I don't know in what video, I said at some point that I was waiting to listen to the Frozen cast recording until I actually saw Frozen. But then, you know, things in the world happened, and I don't think I'm gonna see Frozen anytime soon. So I'm okay with this show spoiling it for me. And when I tell you that this song was really good, I mean it was really good. I think that this is the best that Sophia Wiley has ever sounded singing. Not that she's ever sounded bad, but like it suited her so much. And her voice with Joshua's voice on this, they blended together so perfectly. It was such a fun song. Their dynamic was so like palpable. The chemistry was like, well, what is happening? It was so catchy. It's been in my head for days. I am now obsessed with that song. It's so much fun. And the way that they did it, just like everything about it, they were both on the top of their game. I've said before, I don't commit to ships. Like, I really, truly do not care whether Rina happens or Portwell happens. I like Gina with EJ, I like Gina with Ricky, I like Gina by herself. I just want everybody to be happy. So for me, this like wasn't about like a win for my ship or anything. It was just really fun to watch. It was just so, wow, like one of the best performances I have seen from this show, period. I have truly no critiques, none whatsoever. It was just really good. And at the end, I clapped. I was like, yes! Yes, thank you so much for doing this and putting this magic on screen. So for every review that I've done, I have mentioned Ashlyn and Maddox and how I think they're gonna fall in love and end up together. If they don't end up together at the end of this season, I think next season something will happen because I just believe this. But then this time I was like, wait, are they setting up Ashlyn and Val? Or is this just like a catalyst for Ashlyn and Maddox? Because I was firmly, even last time I said, I think Maddox thinks that Ashlyn likes Val, but really they like each other. But then in this episode, I don't know, like that scene with Val and Ashlyn off stage was just like, now I'm confused. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, please. Ricky is the king of dramatic exits, especially this season. I feel like he's done it in other seasons though. But he hit the camera of a Disney Plus cameraman person. That's bold. And what needs to be said is that these characters just need to learn to communicate. Although if they did learn to communicate, it probably would be far less entertaining for us, so I'm kind of glad they don't communicate. But if they communicated, like, all of their problems would be solved. And you know what's disappointing? You know what I will say? If they had communicated and stuff, what would have happened and what we deserved? We were so close to a Ricky and EJ friendship, and I really wanted it, and I kind of thought we were gonna get it. And we're barely hanging on to that at this point. There's a teeny thread, and if you pull it just a little, the whole thing's gonna unravel any second now. But remember their little pillow fight thing? That was so great. Those were the good days. In the big scene where they're all in the barn and like everything unravels, I really thought that they were gonna sing Work This Out from High School Musical 2. Where are the High School Musical and Camp Rock songs? I was expecting like one per episode. But Courtney said something that made me think, oh my gosh, it's happening, they're gonna do Work This Out. And then they didn't, and I was so sad. And then they revealed that EJ's name is Elton John, which I thought was a joke because they were calling him Rocket Man. And D23 had published an article about him being Eric James, and D23 is a very reliable source. So apparently he's not Eric James and he's Elton John, and I feel very lied to, honestly. I wrote down a line that I really liked, and I kind of can't remember who said it. I think it was Courtney talking to Emmy and Alex, but she said something about they slap each other only if they're paid to, which I thought was just a really great line. And then of course Carlos and Ricky had their conversation. Before that, Ricky and Jet had a nice conversation. I like their brotherly relationship. But Carlos and Ricky's conversation, I loved Carlos talking about his straight dar. And then the way that he pulled out the list, the checklist, and checked off the hot mic was so good. There's just like, it's so subtle, but so good. Like, I don't know how to explain what Frankie is doing this season. There really are no words to describe what an absolutely amazing job he is doing every episode. Little things, like pulling a checklist out of a bag and checking something off, that should be a super mundane, boring thing, but he makes it such a moment. And I truly cannot say enough good things about his performance. I just want to give him all the praise every day, all the time. I did see a theory floating around that Carlos set that up for Ricky to be caught on camera. And I don't think that's true. I know he's playing the instigator, he made himself the instigator, but I don't think he would go that far. I really don't. I really like his friendship with Ricky, and I just really don't see that being a thing. Jet's song sounded so familiar to me in the verses, and I couldn't come up with what it was. But I think it's the Kelly Clarkson song about like, someone's gotta go. You know, the one where it's like, I want you to know that it doesn't matter when we take this road. Someone's gotta go. That was not even the tune. Like, I'm not even putting effort into that, but you know that song? I think that's the one it sounds like. But let me know in the comments if you have a different idea of what song it sounds familiar to. And lastly, another thing I saw floating around the internet was that Jet and Courtney are being shipped. I didn't get that from this at all. But I don't hate it. I guess if Howie's gone, she's single and ready to mingle, and if she likes Jet, then I'm happy for her. Let me know your thoughts about episode 5 in the comments. I can't believe that next week is episode 6 and we're nearing the end. We're already at the color war with It's On, so we're getting a Camp Rock song, which is great. I just can't believe we're this far into it. But I'm excited! And I love you all. Stay beautiful, you people. Bye!